In phase 1, we will discuss about the index maintenance. So let's start. These are some maintenance activity which we need to perform on the index on a regular basis in PostgreSQL database. First, we have to identify the bloated index. We will discuss about the bloated index in our coming video. And we have to re-index the bloated index, and we have to monitor the index usage. Okay, and we have to drop those index which are not using in our database, and we have to perform some regular maintenance tasks in our index and configure some automatic maintenance tasks for the index maintenance as well. So these are some maintenance tasks we need to be performed in our indexes on a regular basis. Now let's discuss about the bloated indexes. As we know, and we have already discussed in our previous sessions, uh, the mechanism of PostgreSQL database about updating a row. In PostgreSQL, whenever we perform any update in a row, so PostgreSQL first mark this row as a dead tuple and create a new row for the new data. So due to this mechanism, the dead tuples generate in our database. So due to that, the index become bloated. And PostgreSQL database perform this mechanism to maintain the multi-version concurrency control. And in the MVCC mechanism of PostgreSQL database, uh, which ensure that the one transaction makes changes to the table and other transaction may still read the prior version of the table. And to maintain the MVCC mechanism, PostgreSQL database is not overwriting the existing data in the tables, and it's create a new version of entry in the table and mark the previous entry as a dead. And due to that, that tuples generate in the table, which takes the space in the database and also resulting that table become bloated. This is a query. By this you can easily be find out the bloated index in the PostgreSQL database. It's a view is PG underscore straight underscore user indexes. So you can select this view and find out the bloated indexes in your PostgreSQL database. And that is the method 2. These query you can use to identify the bloated index in your PostgreSQL database. You just execute this select statement in the PostgreSQL database. It will return the index name in your PostgreSQL database, which need to be perform the reindexing. Now, after the identifying the bloated index in your PostgreSQL database, we need to resolve that issue. For that, we have to perform the reindexing activity of these bloated index in our PostgreSQL database. So there are some options for to perform the reindexing. We can perform reindexing on a specific index. We can perform reindexing on a table. We can perform reindexing on the schema, database, and the system as well. And the reindex is basically rebuild an index from the data stored in the index table. by replacing the old copy of the index. Here we have some parameters in PostgreSQL database for the reindex command. First one is concurrently. When we use concurrently option in the reindex command, so it will not log that table. Okay, and if we not use the concurrently option in the reindex, it will log the table for the write operation, but the user can still read that table. We can also use the table space option in the reindex if we want to move our index into the new table space, so we can use this option. And the last one is verbose. For the detailed output of our reindex command, so if we want to see the detailed output of our reindex command, so we can use the verbose option in the reindex. And we should focus some consideration if we want to perform the reindexing in our PostgreSQL database. Let's suppose our user table index as corrupted, so we can simply reindex this a particular index, and we can also reindex of all table as well. And normally when we perform the reindex in the table, so it will be log for the write operation. And if we perform the reindexing on particular index and the table, so other direction can still read the table. However, if they try to insert, update and delete row in the tables, they will block until the index rebuild completed. To resolve that type of issue, if we have a 24 into 7 databases, we can't afford a downtime, so we can use the concurrently option during the rebuild index. So it will allow the rebuild index with the minimum locking for the write operation. So concurrently option allow the operation it will be run normally while index rebuild is running. So this method, as we have already discussed, we can use this method for the production database, and we can use this method for the database which we need to run on the 24 into 7. But for that we need the additional CPU and the memory and IO load, cause the index rebuild may slow down other operation as well. So we have to perform the reindexing activity in the non-peak hours, or we can use this reindexing activity on the weekends.